one-on-one with Doug Butler from Holy Trinity, a coach that really needs no introduction, one of the state's all-time great coaches. Doug, thanks for talking to us today. We're going to have a chance to talk about your cross-country season coming up, but before we do that, I'd kind of like to just go back in retrospect and talk about your track teams. 2 runner-up finishes this year. 2010 season pretty successful for you?
Yeah, I was pretty happy. We knew the girls were going to be a long shot. Poor St. Joe had to either have the bus breakdown or Kayla Parker oversleep that day. But so I was happy. The girls, we knew we had a decent shot to be number 2, and the boys, we thought we had a shot to win. But you know, Gary Droz seems to pull one out of the hat every year up in McClay. So hats off to them. They just performed exceptionally well, capitalized on everything, and you know, we didn't capitalize on a couple areas that we needed to get it done. But that was our highest boys finish we'd ever had. So it was a nice day.
What would you say was your biggest accomplishment this track season, on both the girls and the boys side?
I think our biggest thing was the fact that we've got 100 kids out for track this year, and there's 530 kids in our school. So that was a nice fact that we finally got some good numbers out, and that we were really well-rounded. We didn't, you know, normally we just are scoring points in the distance events, and this year we scored everywhere. We scored boys 4x1, boys 4x4, boys 4x8. All 3 relays scored very well. Our girls 4x1 and our girls 4x8 doing very well. All of our relays were top 3, I think, at state, and so only girls 4x4 didn't make it. So I think that was a great fact, that we've won a distance race, we won a 400 race, we won a field event. So we weren't just loaded on the sprints or in the distance. We were pretty well rounded this year.
So we finished up the track season, and you kind of took it upon yourself to once again do the All-Star Showdown this year. Kyle was off at training, wasn't able to be with us this year, but he was with us in one sense, in that he was at 30,000 feet and tweeting in on the live feed that we had going. Thanks for doing the All-Star Showdown, a real good opportunity for folks to come out and run fast at the end of the season. Were you pretty, satisfied with the way that meet went?
Yeah, Kyle started that meet, and that was kind of his dream, and he worked it really hard. He Facebooked all these kids and always got all the talent to come in, and I just didn't have the time to put it in like he did. So the kids that came on their own. I didn't go out and solicit any of them, and so that I thought it was a great event. The 4x8 with BK and Charlotte, throwing it down there. Brian Atkinson coming in and running the 5,000. Shelby running in. So yeah, I was really happy with it. There were some good kids, a lot of PRs that night. I'd like to see it grow. It has the potential to be if the other kids, would take part of it, it has potential to be a really good night.
Well, I saw some green faces there towards the end of the meet, folks that were finishing up the milk mile.
Yeah, that's I invented the milk mile about 10 years ago. It probably was around somewhere else people had done it, but I started it here at Wickham Park at my camp 10 years ago when we did the mile repeats the one day in the summer, and so we brought it into the All-Star meet, and we had over 30 kids in the milk mile this year. We went through over 4 gallons of milk and actually ran out there at the end. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good way to end it.
Well, we've got the summer programs and the summer conditioning that's coming about. One of the things that I had a chance to do a couple months ago, probably about a month and a half ago, was talk to Mike Boza about the FACA clinic that's coming up. And I know that you've been going to FACA. Matter of fact, I went up there with you one year just to kind of hang out. It's pretty important, I think, for coaches to get some postseason kind of education and continue to learn more about track and cross country and all these sports. What are your thoughts on the FACA clinic?
It's the best thing going. When I started coaching, this was my 10th year coaching at Holy Trinity. I went to the very first FACA clinic. I've been to every FACA clinic for 10 years. You're always going to pick up something new, and it's where you make your kids take a break, at the end of the season to get physically healed and to get mentally rewound, to get remotivated. And the FACT clinic is where you're going to get mentally rewound, remotivated. It fuels me every year to go there and to hang out with some of the best coaches and to learn, from the Gary Drozes and the Mike Bozes, those guys that, that have been around for a long time, because they're a lot older than I am. So,
and me too.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great way to learn, and it's where I picked up things. I've heard the Joe Newtons and Dan Greens and Bob Raymonds and everything I've learned, that I've picked up in 27 years that I've been running is from guys like that. Roy Benson and Bob Raymond are everything that I've done, that I teach my kids, is basically from those two guys, as far as training wise and phase training and the aerobic base it's not mine. I didn't invent anything. I just pass it through to the kids from what those guys have given me. So yeah, if you're not at the FACT clinic, you're missing out.
Well, I know that Coach Bose has put together a great program. You take a look at the number of top-notch coaches from all across the country, both the high school and the college level, that are going to be there, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty impressive program. You're going to be speaking specifically about distance training for high school athletes. What can we expect from your talk?
My kids, we don't do a lot of high-intensity track work. We're more of an aerobic. That's kind of how I am. Coach Benson, he worked with me when he was coaching me, and I guess I kind of coach my kids the way that he'd coached me, and that I believe you just really have to get in those base mileage, the aerobic miles, and that's kind of where my program's at. I have, I'm going to share the 4 groups that I have. I have an A, B, C, D group. My beginning runners are in D, my advanced runners are in A. We start out anywhere from 30 miles a week in my beginning group, all the way up to the 85 mile a week in my A group. So I'm just going to share some of that in my philosophy on that.
Well, it's probably 10 years ago when I heard you say it first. It probably was said before that, but you strongly believe champions are made in the off season, and that you got to put in the work even before the season starts. Which kind of leads us into the cross-country season that's coming up. Obviously, your folks are going to be hitting it hard over the summer, and this fall, you've got a chance to probably solidify your place once again in the records books. Right now, you've got 10 state championships. Out of the last 8 years, 15 of your 16 teams that have gone to state have been on the podium. What can we expect this cross-country season? It's going to be another stellar showing for the Tigers?
I think we'll be stout. I think our girls will be strong, stronger than the boys, probably. The boys will be good, but Trinity Prep's going to be just as well. I mean, they didn't lose anybody either. The 10 state titles, that's the tie that the state has us with. To me, it's only 9, but to me that doesn't matter. It's the road travel, getting there each year for the kids, and just seeing the joy on their face. I think the 15 out of 16 teams being on state, to me, is being in the top 2 at state. To me, that's a good feeling, because that's a lot of different kids that have gotten to experience the high point at the end of the season, and that's a pretty good feeling. So if we could put 2 more teams on the podium, first or second, that's our goal every year, is to always stay up top. I think my kids this year are motivated as much as ever. I think my boys are very motivated. We didn't finish last season like we wanted to, but I think I've got 6 girls that have run under 12 minutes for the 2 mile, under 11:55, I think, coming back, and 8 of them have been under 12:20. So we're going to be pretty good on the girls' side, and so we keep the intensity down in the summer. We don't hammer the speed. We just build up the base and try to have a good time. We do pool days after runs and things like that. So the team cohesiveness is a big factor with cross country. If you're not building team cohesive, then the task cohesiveness isn't going to be there as well. So just have a good time during the summer, but you got to put the work in.
Very well said, Doug. Doug, thanks for talking with us today.
Thanks, Bob.